Welcome to the Hero Life Show. My name is Paul. Daniel, how are we?
Good, Paulie. Good to see you, mate. How are things?
Things are going well. Things are going well, as you so remind me all the time. Things are always going well in my life.
It's a great attitude.
Yeah, it's great. We sometimes have just language that we lean on, which is always a positive thing because so many of us do have self-talk language that we lean on that can be quite self-deprecating. So it's a nice thing to put a positive slant on it, so to speak.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. How's life as a new dad?
As a dad of two, a family of four, things are going great. And there is nothing greater to teach you the art of non-attachment than having a newborn child. To know that, you can be up all night one night and know that the next night's going to be different. But likewise, to give yourself a good 4-hour block of sleep the next night and know that that could very well not be the case the following night.
You got to treasure the moments that you can sleep and treasure the moments that you're up in the middle of the night, changing nappies, feeding, being available, being awake, just doing what's needed. So I'm sure you're enjoying all aspects.
Yeah, finding the beauty in it all. That's true. And just trying to find balance in, the act and the art of parenting, but also, taking care of myself individually and also taking care of, my relationships with my loved ones, including my wife and my other child, Eddie, which is, it's a juggling act and it's a beautiful juggling act. Speaking of balance, like that leeway. Uh,
Perfect. Just keep riffing. This is perfect.
so balance is a concept that has always fascinated me because it's a forever evolving and dynamic kind of art form. And I always like to look at everybody's life in balance, in a physical sense, but also in a sense of relationships with others around you and also with yourself. And being in the fitness world for the period of time that I have been in, almost 20 years, I, for a really long time, looked at the body in balance. Can I create balance between somebody's posterior and anterior? Is a cyclist's hip flexors too tight? If so, can we lengthen those and strengthen their glutes? All of these types of physiological balances that you can articulate and really, really create power over. But it extends so much further, especially in the world that we live in of, problem solving when it comes to a father's, daily negotiations and challenges. And that balance can look so different. How can a father, create balance with their work, create balance with their family, create balance with satisfying their own self and their own needs and their own need to express themselves creatively and, through a spiritual sense, if that's something that really they need to express themselves through as well. And all of these things can be a really, really, when I just itemized all of these things, it could be a really daunting kind of checklist for a lot of people to go through, but it doesn't need to be a particularly lengthy process to be able to check these things off or to be able to nourish yourself in that sense. So balance to me can be a daily kind of negotiation, and it can also be satisfied with a thought, a single thought, or with a 5-minute practice. And this is something that I've been thinking about a lot because we're all busy people and we don't have the privilege of devoting a 3-hour time bracket to training ourselves or to going on a spiritual journey for X period of time. Sometimes that's possible, but sometimes it isn't. So I think it's really interesting to be able to satisfy these aspects of ourselves individually and collectively, but in a time efficient manner. Do you have
Mm.
any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think it's important to recognize that, trying to find balance over a long period of time and into the future can be, as you mentioned, just daunting and overwhelming. And so just bring it back to simplicity. I mean, like balance to me is just about spontaneity. It's like, what does this moment present, or what day, in the morning, if I look at my day, where is there time to contribute where I need to contribute, get the tasks that I need to do done. And within that, how do I eat well? How do I get the sleep that I need? How do I, spend time with the people I want to spend time with? And how do I look after myself? And it feels like on a day-to-day basis, I have those moments of consideration and then reflection. And I do that also with my wife because she's also on this journey with me. And as parents, we've got to take care of ourselves, but also take care of the relationship, and then also take care of our children because we're their caregivers. So it's important just kind of thinking about things, not just in my world, but also the people that are closest to me, that we're all kind of taken care of. And that's why, the art form of balance needs to have, there's many different pieces of the puzzle to get like a perfect fit. And sometimes it's going to lean more to one side than to the other, but in balance we just find flow and just give where needed and pull back when needed. And it's so dynamic that the non-attachment idea to how it's going to look and what it actually means that we can just be spontaneous and just be guided by what is happening moment to moment. And that's like a practice in and of itself. And I
Mm.
think for me now, coming into like, my youngest daughter, Sailor's nearly 1 year old, like her lifestyle has changed dramatically by having a more consistent sleep routine. And that changes how we go about, our days, which is amazing. And I know that will continue to evolve. So it's like, it's so dynamic because there are just changes moment to moment. So keeping it spontaneous, having one eye on a firm plan, and just knowing that, we need to adapt, based on what's happening in our lives. I think that's just such a crucial component of being a busy dad.
Yeah, spot on. And knowing that if you feel like you've weighted your balance somewhat towards a particular department of your life on this particular day, there's always an opportunity to to make up for it the next day. And that goes in your health, where we coach so many of our dads. If work took the front seat with one of our dads, and let's say they didn't get an opportunity to exercise today, there is always an opportunity to be able to act the following day and to be able to take care of yourself that next day.
Awesome. Well, hopefully this has given you some food for thought about how you're viewing balance in your life and what balance means to you. And if you have any thoughts or any comments, let us know in the comment section, and we'd be happy to riff with you or respond to anything. But hopefully there's some benefit that's come from this chat.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.